In this webinar, you will learn how to fill out the Church Mission Support form to ensure that your church's mission dollars go the right direction towards the right giving category. This session will be filled with examples that illustrate a variety of giving scenarios. This learning opportunity is made possible by your support of United Mission. Please check out the umisthevehicle.org website for free resources and more information. Again, that's umisthevehicle.org. My name is Bridget Lippin, and I work in communications with American Baptist Churches USA. I will be monitoring questions on this webinar, and we invite you to submit any questions you have during the webinar in either the questions box or the chat box in your GoToMeeting toolbar. These questions will be addressed at the end of the webinar. Now I would like to introduce our presenter for the afternoon, Jerry Ann Blyer, ABCIS Coordinator, who is here to teach us about understanding church mission support. We are also joined by Barbara Jarrett, who is here to aid Jerry in answering specific questions about United Mission giving and giving to other categories. Welcome, Jerry.
Hi, Bridget. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. I'd like to start first with a contact list, just so that you have an idea of who to speak with when you have questions about your church mission support giving. First of all, you would want to contact your region, and then secondly, you could contact any of us here at the Mission Center at Valley Forge. We've already introduced Barbara Jarrett, and I'm here, but we also have Joyce Lake and Robert Lovis on board. We have additional resources for you on the ABC USA website. To get to the ABCIS resource page, you would just need to type ABCIS in the search box. Then you would click on any of the links that show up as ABCIS 2016 resources, and then you would see this resource page. On this resource page, we have a blank church mission support form, as well as the definitions page used to help support the form, along with a PowerPoint tool that you can use to understand more about the form, along with this webinar, of course. And the PowerPoint is also in a PDF format. And there are some other things there too. So today's session is all about understanding church mission support, how to fill out this form successfully. And we have a single goal. It's to help ensure that your mission dollars go to the right giving category. And we have lots of examples to go through together to show you how to do this. So let's get started. As an FYI, we want to say that this form is used by most of the regions. But if the form that you receive at your church looks different, it may be because your region is using a customized church mission support form. We have redesigned this form, and the redesign took place in January 2016. The new redesign has a single purpose. It's to make it easier for you, our ABC churches, to submit your mission giving. That's the only reason that this form was redone. We also have a definitions page which walks you through all of the different categories. It's to be used as a guide. The form lends itself easily to being split into three sections. We have the upper, the middle, and the lower pieces. We're going to start with the lower section because this is where the receipt is. And I like to spend time with the receipt to help tie it in with the form itself. So here we have a receipt from a prior gift. It has on it the total giving on the right and the project details on the left. Now, if you've been working with the receipts for some time, you'll know that this receipt layout has not changed from the old form, so it should be very familiar. All of the giving categories are on the right-hand side, and what you see on the left side are the project details that, when added up, will support the totals on the right side. When you get your receipt, the first thing you want to do is confirm the receipt detail. You want to take a good look at it and ask yourself, have your gifts been posted to the correct categories and/or projects? Does it look right to you? Your intentions are actually reflected in the receipt details. So if you're looking at it and you don't see what you're expecting to see, you may need to call us to have corrections made. And what we would like you to do is to call right away. Please don't wait. Lots of times people forget, they have the best intentions, and then it just gets on a pile of paper somewhere and doesn't get done. And then we create problems. So let's say that we're looking at the bottom project, the bottom detail, the Lauren Bethel support, and it's for $25, and right now it's going to targeted giving. It says support on there, and perhaps you meant it to be Project X. So you were called to have that changed, and it moves from targeted giving into specifics. It's a small detail, but it's an important detail. The upper section is clear and easy. We won't be spending much time on this. It's clear and easy because most of it is the contact information that's found on the left-hand side. What I will say about this part is when you get this pre-printed form, take a look at the phone number and your email and, of course, your address. If there are any changes there, please notify your region. The A through E giving categories are on the right, and we'll take another closer look here. These are United Mission, which is the UMB and the Love Gift, and then 3 of the offerings. Now, United Mission is something that is very wonderful because giving to this category means you support the entire American Baptist family. And it's United Mission Basics is totally unique in that it supports the total ministry because all of it is divided across the American Baptist family. The AB Women's Ministries Love Gift is the other part of United Mission, where most of it is divided across the American Baptist family, but also 15% is given directly to AB Women's Ministries. All of this is done according to the covenant agreement. Getting back to the entire list, the A through E giving categories, United Mission and these 3 offerings are grouped together because they require no additional detail. You simply add an amount into the amount column. Nothing more is needed. So let's take a look at the upper part. This is what you would fill in, and then this is what your receipt would look like when you get it back. You'll see that everything down the right side is as it should be. We have $1,000 in United Mission Basics. We have $150 for the Love Gift, and then we have a total for United Mission. Then we have $200 for America for Christ, but notice on the left side, this is broken down, and we now have details, but we didn't have to write in any details. The details come because the covenant agreement says that AFC is divided into thirds, 1/3 to the region and 2/3 to ABHMS. All the rest is put into their regular places on the form. Now that leaves us with the middle section, which is our main focus for this session. F through I giving categories are the WMO, which is the World Mission Offering, the 1 Great Hour of Sharing, the 3 boards and related projects, and all other giving. We're going to start with the F and G categories, which are WMO and OGHS. Now, I like to think of WMO as Global Mission Support through International Ministries. So when I think WMO, I think Global Mission. When I see OGHS offering, I think of disaster relief like Hurricane Sandy, and also development assistance, both overseas and here at home. These things are well described from the definitions page, and you can see that they're almost, word for word for what I put on the other slide. It's very easy to see and to understand. Okay. So the thing about the WMO and OGHS categories is that they may require additional detail, but they don't have to have detail. So if we would write in $600 for WMO and just over $200 for OGHS, what would we see on our receipt? And it would look like this. We would have, for the detailed items, WMO undirected giving and OGH 1 great hour sharing. Now, you didn't specify these on the form. These get plugged into the receipt as a default, and a default is nothing more than an assumption. This is like the global pool of WMO and OGH giving. Again, you see them on the right side with the figures. Now let's get a little bit more detailed. This time we're going to add partial detail. We'll still keep those two original amounts without any detail at all, but now we'll add in the Harghita camp in Romania for WMO, and we'll add in wildfires in Alaska for OGHS. So we took a few moments and wrote out the project details in our own words, and now we want to ask, what will we see on the receipt this time? Notice the WMO undirected giving and the 1 great hour sharing with those same amounts are still listed in the detail area. But now we also have, highlighted in yellow, the specific project names for those details. Both WMO items are added up and placed on the right-hand side, as are the OGH items as well. Now, here's a very important tip. While you're able to write in your giving in your own words, you can describe it in your own words, once you get your receipt back, it might not be a bad idea if you would consider using them when you want to again give to the same projects. What this does is removes any ambiguity from your giving, and it helps the receiving units post the funds correctly, which is exactly what we want you to do, what we want to help you do. So right now you may be wondering, what's a receiving unit? A receiving unit is either the folks at the regions or here at Valley Forge who do the data entry into the large database called ABCIS. ABCIS is the large repository for ABC data. So now we're left with the last little two categories. They're pretty big, but it's a wide open space, so what do you do with these? H is the national boards, and it includes general and specific projects for those boards, and this area includes the missionary projects, missionary support, and other project detail. Everything else falls under all other giving, which might include campaigns or pass-through gifts and other projects that don't fit in, like I said, the other categories. Let's take a look. These always require additional detail. You can't get away from it. If you put in money, an amount figure for any of these and leave it blank, we cannot process them. We have no defaults to use. We just don't know what your intentions are. So instead, it's very helpful if you write something in to help us take out the guesswork. So in this case, we're adding one of the missionaries for $2,000. So with this one, we see that the receipt shows support, and that's because we did not specify anything else. So the assumed purpose is support for this missionary. If you did not want all of it to go to support, however, we would have a problem. And let's look at the difference for a moment with targeted giving versus specifics. Targeted giving, such as missionary support, are funds placed temporarily into a salary pool excuse me, which allows time for adjustments to be made before the final disbursement. This is important because it gives a little bit of leeway to ensure that the funds are posted to the right category and project as intended by you, our givers. Specifics, however, are actual missionary projects, and specific funds are distributed directly to the project. So if you take this gift and you really want to be very specific as to where the funds go, we can take the guesswork out by adding more detail. And in this case, we've specified $1,500 for support and $500 to this library project for this missionary. So now what will you see on your receipt? The receipt shows clearly that the support goes under targeted giving for $1,500, and the library project is now labeled specific, and it's for $500. So we've made an observation here that when you have any missionary support at all, whether it be for salary or for specific projects, it should go under H, the national boards, as opposed to I, all other giving. Now let's take a look at this one. We're on example 9. Here we have the national boards listed without any specific purpose listed. We're giving money equally across the 3 boards, and I'm wondering what this receipt will look like. This one just mirrors back the names of the national boards, and this falls under specifics, and the amounts are there. Of course, they're all added up under specifics on the right-hand side. So now we drop down to I, all other giving. And this is institutional support. We have Eastern University, we have Green Lake out in Wisconsin. Any of the institutions that are ABC related would fall here under I. And I'm wondering now what this receipt will look like. And again, it's very close, except it's now under institutional support. Campaigns are very similar, except there's a little bit of a difference here. Many campaigns have something called capital improvement. This is sort of like the general pool of the campaign. Then within it, they have specific projects. So when you list out, for example, Camp Lebanon with capital improvement for $1,500 and Tractor Fund as a project, what will this receipt look like? And it's all campaign support. And notice this goes above and beyond ABMS giving. ABMS means American Baptist Mission Support. You'll see that the project, the specific, is under specifics. That part belongs under ABMS. But the campaign part itself, the capital improvement, falls under campaign. We also have miscellaneous objectives. Now, these are special gifts that are something called pass-through gifts. What will this receipt look like? Again, these are above and beyond ABMS giving because they go directly to the person or the institution. They're outside ABMS, and they're just sort of passing through the system and going right along to the project. And you see these as MO. So in summary, we can ask that you review your receipt in a timely manner, that you would call as soon as possible your region or us to make corrections, and we do have a word about timing. This is a very important reminder that you get your corrections made before the end of year close. A lot of folks wait until, I shouldn't say a lot, there are some folks that wait until the end, then they review everything, and sometimes by the time they get things done, it's a little tight or even impossible to change. So we just encourage you to get these things done as quickly as you can. Our third point is that you provide as much detail as possible to ensure that your gifts go to the right giving category. Write it all out. If you're not sure, just describe it as well as you can. Then when you get your receipt back, if you can, reuse that receipt detail the next time you want to give to that project. And then also review the resources available on the ABC USA website. It's your mission, United Mission dollars that have made it possible for us to bring you this webinar, as well as to provide the resources mentioned in this presentation. We certainly thank you for your continued generosity, and to remember that United Mission is the vehicle to help take God's Word beyond the walls of the church. It is the way to get there. We'd like to also give a acknowledgement and a big thank you to the Common Budget Covenant Review Committee members who worked so hard to redesign the form and to create a clear definitions page for all of us to use. And now it's question and answer time.
All right, Jerry, this is Bridget, and before I start reading the questions, I'd just like to encourage anyone who does have any questions to either enter their question in the questions box, or you can send this in the chat box to Bridget Lippin. The first question that I've had is, will the slides be available to download after the presentation?
Will the what be available?
The slides be available.
Oh, the slides, the presentations. Yes, I believe so. I think we're putting it on the ABC USA website. And Bridget, wasn't there another website?
Yes, well, the ABC USA website, and also I believe that the presentation, a recording of this presentation will be mailed out to attendees via your email address that you registered with. So, a second question that we had come in is the form available in Spanish?
We are currently working on that. I'm glad you asked. We were able to do both the form and the definitions page in Spanish, and we have someone here in the building who is reviewing it to make sure that the wording is as we would like to have it. Once it's available, we will be putting it into the system and, of course, putting it up on the website as well.
Okay, great. And then we received a question asking about World Mission Offering specifically. When churches send giving to World Mission Offering, what does the money support?
Barbara?
Well, if they designated it would support that missionary or project that they indicate. Otherwise, I believe that money goes towards the budget.
Okay, so this would support international ministries in general if it isn't designated to a specific missionary or global servant. Okay, another question that we received is the hard copy of the form lists categories by letters A, B, C, etc. Could these letters be listed on the ABCIS website to match up when a new receipt is entered?
Okay, say that again. We have the A.
Yes. Yep, so on the hard copy they're listed by categories by letters A, B, C, etc. And this person is wondering, could the letters be listed on the ABCIS website to match up when a new receipt is entered?
We'll have to think about that one. That's a good question.
Okay. So that's something that may be possible to do. So that's great. We have a question about, let's see, Grace River Church is a brand new church to ABC. What is the requirement for timely submission of this form?
What region are they with?
I don't have that information.
Let's see. Grace River? They're with Rochester. Okay. They should have their receipt to the lockbox by the 5th of the month to be included in the previous month's receipts. For instance, if they want it to be included in May's, they should have it to our lockbox by June 5th.
Okay. And would the church need to do this every month, or are they able to do it every 2 months, or is there a definite deadline on that?
They can do, some churches do it monthly, some do quarterly, some do annually, but we really encourage them to do it monthly because everybody's supported by that money, including the region.
Okay, great. In regards to campaigns, if this is not a part of American Baptist Mission Support, what would be the benefit to the church to send that through ABCIS or the Mission Support Form instead of directly to the mission project?
Well, it normally just shows, it shows in their overall totals is what happens. So, you know, it's not part of ABMS, but it would show as a total for their giving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would be reported that the church gave a specific amount in the year, whether to a campaign or to an offering. All of that would be reported together. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes, and also there's another side piece to this. I'm asked to do annual statistics, obviously every year, and the people that I do these statistics for actually publish the statistics as part of an overall look at, I'll say it, religion in America, for example. And so we're one piece out of all these religious organizations, and one of the things is how much do churches give. So the fact that they're giving, even if it isn't a part of ABMS, it is a part of a church's total giving. And so we like to reflect that with this publication.
Okay, great. We've received a question. If private donors want to give separately, do they use the same form?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so a private donor would use this form to ensure that their gift gets to the correct designated category or what they're interested in giving to, correct?
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And let's see, the church that was mentioned earlier, Grace River Church, which is new to ABC, is actually, I've learned, in the Rocky Mountain region. So what would the requirement for a timely submission of a form in that region be?
They should be in touch with that region. Since that region does the collecting for Rocky Mountains, they should be in touch with their the person there, and that person can let them know what their deadline is.
Great. And another question. We've had a lot of great questions, so thank you, and keep them coming if you have more.
Yes.
Should the church who donates to local campaigns send the donation through American Baptist Mission Support?
That's a good one. I would say most times they should send, if it's not Baptist related, for instance, some people give to like food pantries that are like a community one that is not Baptist related, and I would say send those directly because you don't really get credit for those if they're not related to the American Baptists.
Okay, great. And we have a follow-up question about the private donors using the same form. We have been asked, would the private donors use the church name or should they use their own name when using the form?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of it.
Should the donor use their own name or should they use their church name?
Use your name. The donor's name can use their name, but indicate that they want the credit given to their church. What will happen for this then is the donor will have their own PIN number and they'll get the receipt back indicating they gave that money, but then it will be credited to their church's totals.
Okay. We have a question. Does a private donor use the church PIN or will they be given their own PIN when they are making their donation?
They'll be given their own PIN.
Okay, so then they would use that personal PIN each time they wanted to submit a donation?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and we have another question came in. What if the donation is for a mission support nonprofit that is a member of the church regional agency?
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I'm assuming that it's probably an organization that's affiliated with the region in some way. Maybe the region either supports or does work with that mission.
Yeah, that would most likely come through on the mission receipt as a specific, and then the region most likely would keep that money and send that on.
Okay, great. And for the person that asked that question, they've actually asked you to repeat the answer, Barbara. So again, the question was, what if a donation is for a mission support nonprofit that is a member of the church regional agency?
Yes, I would think that would come through as a specific on the mission form, and then most likely the region would keep that and send it on to that entity because we don't have the addresses and so forth of those particular ones that the regions work with. So I would think it would be better for them to keep that money and send it on since they're working right in that region with it.
Right.
Makes sense.
Okay. One more question. Does the church have the right to know how much is being given to a specific missionary to determine if more is needed?
That would be a question for BIM. I believe they would tell you that how much more they needed.
That'll be correct. So that would be a question that would go to international ministries directly.
Okay. All right. And then what is the correct address that the form should be sent? Can you say that maybe 2 times so that people have that information?
Well, it depends on where you're at. If your region collects for, if you're a church that's in a region that collects for themselves, it would go to the region. And if it is a church that we collect for, it would go to our lockbox, and that will be written on your mission receipt when you get it.
Okay. So written on the mission receipt that that people receive when they submit, they would find out where they're supposed to send it. Jerry, could you explain this receiving units chart so that people here can understand again?
Right. The receiving units, as we said, are the folks who actually do the data entry. So they get your form, and then they sit in front of the computer, and they type in your information into the ABCIS system, the database system. So the ones under regions are the receiving units. So if you're in the region of Massachusetts or DC or Wisconsin, you would actually send your forms to your region. The list under Valley Forge, these regions have Barbara do the data entry here at the Mission Center. So these are sent directly here to Valley Forge.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's wait another minute or two. If anyone does have any more questions, please answer them in the chat or the questions box. And if not, thank you very much for attending our webinar. And again, if you'd like to stay on for just another minute or two, we can see if any other questions are entered. Let's see, we've received one more question. When do we start using the new form?
It's available now.
Okay, so this is what people should be using when they're filling out their mission?
Yes, it is. This is the form, the official form from ABC USA.
Okay, and this form is for regions that use the basic form, but again, some of the regions use their a specific form, correct? That's designated specifically for their region?
Yes, some regions have opted to modify this form so that they have different things on it, sort of like regional promotions. But their forms are still very close to our form.
Okay. Would you have a list of those regions available? I'm not sure that we do have that available. Or how would someone learn if their region does that? Would they get in touch with their region?
Well, actually, right here on the slide, I have an asterisk next to the regions that use their own forms. So we have DC, and Barbara, correct me if I'm wrong on these, but we have DC, Indiana, Michigan, we have the Northwest, ABCOPAD, West Virginia, Indianapolis, and New Jersey all use some kind of a modified, customized form.
And also Great Rivers.
Great Rivers does too.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, and we have 2 more questions that have come in, so I will just keep going. Should churches supporting newly endorsed missionaries use the form, or should they send the funding directly to international ministries?
You can send that through on your mission receipt.
Okay, great. And then should a church donation to individuals who are on a journey to become a missionary be processed using a form as a pass-through?
I think that's something you have to ask BIM, because we normally don't take money for individuals that aren't yet missionaries, so that may be something that IM does.
Okay, so that would be a question for international ministries specifically. All right, and then we had a request, a question wondering, will this form be available in an Excel spreadsheet at any time? Are there plans for that in the future?
We've been talking about the possibility of getting the form online, or even we could see what we could do with Excel, but it's under consideration right now.
Okay, great. Jerry, can I ask that you go back to the contact slide just so that anyone who may have questions or may think of something later can get in touch with you just to make sure that their questions are answered along the way.
Yes, and not only do we have our names and our extensions here, but also the email. We would welcome your email questions, and our job functions are listed after our names.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all for attending, and thank you so much, Jerry and Barb, for being with us and helping to answer these questions. And again, we are glad that you attended, and we will be sending out a recording of this webinar for your information, so you can watch your email for that. And again, please take a look at the contact list, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact someone on the ABCIS team.